Hello, beautiful, and welcome to the Prosperous Room. So when high-end coaching clients step into a sales conversation with you, into a natural high-ticket sales conversation, what are they expecting? Who do they expect you to be? And how do they want you to show up for them? How do you want to show up for yourself? One of the things that comes up for women coaches when I ask the question, what is it that high coaching clients expect, is they have this sense of trust and intimacy and all of the things that we talk about every single day. Well, there's one thing that nobody talks about in the coaching business. There's one thing that we as business coaches need to talk more about so that we show up and be our all in sales conversations, not just to be a support for our clients, to raise conversion rates, the sales conversion rates in our businesses, to make a deeper impact and work with more of our best high-end coaching clients who want to create the results in their lives. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the rate of involvement. High-end coaching clients know that high-ticket sales is not a spectator sport. They're not coming there so you can be the expert on their lives. They are the expert on their lives, and you're the expert in what you coach in. You don't have better answers than they do. The better answers show up when you ask the better questions. Best answers are hidden in better questions. So let's leave that aside. I'm not talking about active listening. That's great, and we've talked about that already. But what I'm talking about today is the 5 senses tool. It's a tool that I've been using for the last 20 years in my fashion business. I started my fashion boutique in 2004. And it took me a year to learn this. When I started, all of the work I do is handmade. The dresses are handmade, everything is handmade. The earrings, the bags, it's all handmade. And so I never let anyone touch them. They were all in cases, and people will come, look at them and go, oh, that's so pretty, and walk around. They would buy, but the conversion at the time was about maybe 45% sales. And I thought, what can I do to get a higher conversion and to make the buying process more enjoyable for the clients? What can I do so they have a buy-in in the product so they can walk out with everything in the store? And I decided to let them feel, touch, sense, see, hear the products, the 5 senses. When we allow clients to use all of their senses in a sales conversation, whether you're selling bread, shoes, earrings, or coaching, they create a buy-in for themselves because they feel a higher rate of involvement. And I'm going to show you some examples. In the fashion business, what I noticed was they would put the earring on and say, oh my gosh, where's this been all my life? I need to walk out of the store with these on. And they will keep it on, pay for it, and go. Sales increased by 65%. They'll put the dress on and they will literally walk out of the store with the dress after paying for it, of course. Whether it was the shoes, the bags, the earrings, the necklaces, sales went up by 65% because they could touch it, they could feel it, they could listen to me, tell them the story about where in Cape Town or where in Zimbabwe or where in Uganda I got the tools for this particular necklace. They love the stories, but what they loved most was touching it, feeling the fabric, experiencing for themselves what it would be like to have the thing on, and then seeing themselves in the dress, seeing themselves in the earrings, seeing themselves being the woman who's wearing the thing. It supported them to say yes to themselves because they had a picture, a visual of what life was like after they had that on. When it came to services, I learned this from my insurance agent or my financial planner. In 2004, 20 years ago, I was at my first law firm. And I knew I wanted to have life insurance because I wasn't married, I didn't have kids, but I had my family that I was supporting. And I knew that if anything happened to me, there would be drastic consequences. So I needed life insurance ASAP. And I had 2 options. The first guy came in the first day and he just talked at me. He told me all about what he was doing, what life insurance was, what it meant for me to have it. And then he told me about all the people in the law firm that he was supporting, all the partners who were working with him, and that it would be great for me to work with him too. He didn't ask me many questions about myself. He didn't even know why I wanted life insurance. He was the expert in insurance, and he wanted me to know that I could trust him. And then he took me through a lot of paperwork. So yes, I was touching, I was hearing, I was listening, I wasn't speaking. And the next day, the second guy came and he sat down, and all he did was ask me questions. Why do I want the insurance? What is it for? What would that mean for me and my family? What would it mean for the people who are getting it? What is so important about them having life insurance from me when I'm gone? Why is it important to me? Why does it matter to me? And the thing is, even though I knew I wanted insurance, I did not know how much I wanted it until I heard myself answering the questions. So when I heard my own voice, I convinced myself of why life insurance for me at that time was a must-have. We all do it. You can have clarity by talking to a tree, a street lamp, your dog, your cat, just by hearing yourself speak. You convince yourself of why this is a must-have right now. You get clarity around why you want the thing. It happens in our coaching conversations. When I'm working with my women attorneys, they talk a lot. So they'll ask a question, and then they will answer the question, and they'll have a whole conversation with themselves about the question and the answer, and they will say, oh my gosh, thanks Mimi, thanks so much for your help. And I haven't said a word, but they got crystal clarity simply because they were speaking and listening to themselves. And in the first life insurance example, the guy gave me a lot of papers. I was so confused. I was touching the papers. There was so much information. In the second life insurance, after asking me all the questions, understanding why I wanted it, what was important to me, and he said, I have some papers for you to look at, but I'm going to leave them with you after I'm gone. That way, you're not confused. If you have questions, I'll come back tomorrow. We can complete this, and you can ask me all the questions you have. I felt like I was participating in my own life. And that's what high-end coaching clients want. They expect that. What I've noticed in the sales conversations that I listen to is that coaches love to show up as the expert, and they think they have better answers, so they talk at clients. They ask questions, but not really listen because they want to give an expert response, a really smart, brilliant response, so they want to ask a smart question. And the key is letting the client be the big participant, the star in her own life. Let her listen to herself. So ask the question so she listens to herself, and then she gets to convince herself of why the coaching offer is a must-have. Support her to hear the thing that needs to be heard. Ask the question that needs to be asked. Let her use her senses of sight to visualize where she's going. A lot of times I ask questions like, today's May 28th, 2024. Imagine that it's May 28th, 2034. We meet in New York for the first time since working together. What are you telling me about your business? They close their eyes, they visualize, they see themselves in that situation. They've got the thing, and I ask, how did you get it? And they walk me through how they got it. And they realize for the first time how easy it is to get it because they just visualized how they created that result. So allow clients to use their 5 senses. It is one of the most underused tools in sales conversations because we're so keen to tell people what we know and so scared to get to the asking part of the conversation that we sabotage one of the best things that increases conversion rates. When I started using 5 senses tool in my sales conversations, when I started asking people to visualize, to see, to hear themselves, when I said, did you hear what you just said? Yeah. Tell me more about that and dig into that. That was when my sales, my high-ticket sales conversion rate went from 77% to a 90% close rate. Simply because they believed that they were participating in their lives. They had a higher rate of involvement. The higher the rate of involvement, the less of a spectator sport it is for them. The closer they are to a yes, because they feel safe, because they can experience for themselves in their body the result or the outcome. 1 million testimonials cannot have this result because that is someone else's result. When they have a full body emotional experience of the thing that they want in the conversation, because they're using all of their senses to visualize, to see, to hear, to listen. And if there's papers involved that you're face to face to touch, that is powerful. Let me know how this lands for you. And the entire series of natural high ticket sales conversation is in the playlist in the link below. You can find it there with parts 1, 2, 3, and this is part 4. Come back for the next video, number 5.